They call me Dan, the Lakers fan. And I got a master plan for the Lakers back to the promised land. Spread the vision through my people, cause we fans are equal. When we reach 20K subs, yeah, we gon' drop a sequel. Another Laker anthem track, watch me run it back. Got the keys to the city where my Laker jet.
What up, Laker fam and NBA world? It's your boy DTLF back with the second day 2 free agency video of the day. We got a lot of rumors, a couple of things that broke while I was off the live stream. But make sure you guys hit that like button as soon as you get in here, guys, because it helps the channel. All right. Oh, my goodness. Guys, the rumors are running rampant. People are putting together all kinds of trade speculation, everything. We're going to talk about it all, okay? But the Lakers apparently have held talks with the Phoenix Suns about Nick Richards. All right, so that's interesting because, again, I believe we're going to get Ayton. I believe he'll be our starter, and I believe maybe Nick Richards. Also, the team has also called about potential Reaves, Missy, and Robert Williams the third. Now, that one intrigues me because if we get Robert Williams the third, then what happens with Ayton? I don't think we want to run back the same front court that Portland had, do we? That's where it gets a little confusing. But, again, Rob Pelinka better not drop the ball with dominating. We need that, man. He's absolutely free, and he's on a prove-it year. That needs to be priority number one. I do believe it's going to happen. I still believe it, contrary to what anybody is saying. All right, I still believe it's going to happen. And then I think we're holding talks to get a solid backup big. Now, it will make a lot more sense if it was a Nick Richards off the bench, right? That would be a lot better as far as because if we get Reaves, Messi, I think that's a starting caliber center right there. All right, second year All NBA, averaged over a block. I'm gonna go ahead and compare all three centers in a bit, but guys, we are very active. The Lakers are very active in the trade rumors. I know people are tired of hearing it, but we have to be diligent. We have to be smart about what we do here this offseason. Lakers can't just make trades to make trades. Just like Giannis is watching, we're hearing reports by Windhorse saying that LeBron is watching. This is what Wendy had to say. He said, I'm told LeBron's just chilling and watching the offseason. Do I think he's going to get traded? No, I do not. But if he wants to get traded, now he's reporting that there are teams who will step up and make offers. Okay, yesterday, Wendy had reported something completely different. He said there were no teams ready for no offers. So did they get offers over the last 24 hours together and are ready? Is there something we don't know? What we do know is that the Lakers are working the phones heavily and trying to get either starting or a backup caliber big. That part has not become clear. Also, earlier today, there was a report that the Lakers would be in on Al Horford as well, right? That's definitely got to be a backup. That's not starting caliber big man at all right there. Yo, what up, man? What up, CJ? Crazy all season, man. We get into it. Yo, what's up, Alvin? Yeah, we need centers for sure. All of them. Let's get it, man. What's going on, Gap Boy? Good to see you guys, man. He said, I don't think Ayton really fits, honestly. I just hope we get someone useful. We can't roll out the same lineup from last season. Well, explain to me how you think he doesn't fit. I know a lot of people have been listening to ESPN. They've been reaching out to me saying that ESPN has been, convincing them that Ayton wouldn't be a good fit. How would he not fit? I'm curious because I have his numbers right before me. And even though they are underwhelming for a starting caliber center, as far as the backup goes, he would fit nicely. As far as a new start goes, because he played some minutes as a backup last season, but full starter, I think he would be good for multiple reasons. I'll give you multiple reasons, Solo, on why I disagree with you that he wouldn't be a good fit, right? Number one, all right, he's a pick and roll guy, kind of an old school. He has a back to the basket game, but he can also face up, right? We talked about the numbers already. He can face up. He averaged about, what was it? What did he average last season? Was it 13? Right, 13 and 5 or something like that. But here's the thing about Ayton, right, is he hasn't hit his prime yet. He's barely entering his prime. He's 26. So for anybody to discard a player like that off, I'll disagree with that. Still no moves. Well, the Lakers are apparently very active now. Remember this, they have to be calculated about each move they do because they have a limited cap situation. If they make trades, it might open up even more flexibility. But again, the two reports I'm hearing now is that the Lakers are on the market for a big man. I don't know if this is a backup or starting caliber. It wouldn't make sense for Ayton if this was a starting caliber big man that we're trying to get, right? Let's see. We're in the market for a big man. The Lakers have called Reaves, Messi from the Pelicans, right? Last year's rookie. Very solid defender, good rebounder. Basically a double-double in the making. and he's got potential to be a starting caliber center. I don't think that gets done. Robert Williams, I would much prefer him as a backup because he's always hurt, right? So I much prefer him as a backup. And again, we've heard about Horford rumors. I mean, tons of rumors flying, but I wouldn't expect anything. I wouldn't expect anything less from the offseason, right? Let's be honest. He's not one of those rim running centers, but he's great off of pick and rolls. Apparently, he was 16th in ranking and catching lobs or something like that. I saw someone on the internet. He was ranked high in catching lobs. He has good hands. He can finish. He has a back-to-the-basket game, a face-up game, and most importantly, he's 7'1". Okay, those are the most important things and qualifications for a center. And I'll tell you what, it's not like he's not a fit. I don't see why he wouldn't be a fit. Luka is a great passer, especially when he has a big man who has good height and good hands to catch lobs. I mean, look the way he made Jackson Hayes look offensively during the regular season. That didn't translate to the playoffs, but during the regular season was nice. And also, let's not forget that Ayton has playoff experience because he also helped the Phoenix Suns get to the finals. I'm not saying he was a major piece why they did it, but he helped the Phoenix Suns get there. All right, he was a starting center for the Suns at that time when they had Booker and Mikal Bridges and all those guys, and they lost in what was it, 6 games? They lost in 6 or 7 to the Milwaukee Bucks, right? But he was a big reason to why they got there. So, yo, what up, man? Good to see you, bro. Hey, we're here. We are here for round 2. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We get over 500. We go over the hour mark, okay? We go over the hour mark. Luka would elevate Ayton for sure. I think with Luka, man, he's gonna earn that nickname he gave himself, dominating. I think with Luka next to him and LeBron, assuming he stays here, and we're gonna get into that a little bit, I think he earns it. Let's see. Solo says Luka needs a guy who can pick and roll with. I don't know. His run in Phoenix made me really not like him. Fair enough. But, however, I mean, Chris Paul and him were pretty decent together. Let's not forget that. And I can easily see him averaging anywhere between 14, 15, or 16 points with 10 rebounds if he gets over 30 minutes here with the Lakers, which he most likely would, depending on who we sign as a backup. Now, my dream scenario would be Ayton and Horford to back him up, which apparently the Lakers are interested in. I'm not sure if the other free agents would be interested. If that's something that's going to turn off Ayton, he has to share minutes with Horford, a championship caliber big. Well, even though he's getting older, he's 39. He seems timeless. He's adapted his game extremely well to the modern NBA. Can space the floor, can rebound, and is a tough screen-setting, hard-nosed player. So I would like both of them. I don't think one by themselves is going to be enough. If we get just Ayton, I won't be happy. I'll be okay, but I won't be happy. I still feel like we need another one, which is something I've been feeling since 2020. If we just get Horford, I definitely won't feel good enough because he's older. He should not be playing starters minutes, in my opinion. And, you know, we're definitely going to need another starting caliber center. So we need both of them to really have an A-plus offseason. I would feel a lot safer if we had those two. Let's see. CJ says Ayton and Nick Richards would be nice to build for the future. I also like Ayton and Horford. Yes, I like that Nick Richards one as well. Ayton and Robert Williams I don't really like that because then we're basically the Portland Lakers. You know, I don't want the same front court they had over there. I want to mix it up. But if we do get Robert Williams, then we no longer need the services of Ayton, unfortunately, right? But I just want Ayton because we don't have to give up anything outside of the mid-level exception or whatever's left of it. What is it, like $8 million to get him, right? And that's huge because the market has been dry for bigs. We've been trying to trade for a big for what seems like the last couple of seasons. So anytime you can get one with potential, with good size, good hands, ability to score and defend, you get him. I know there's question marks about his work ethic and motor, but once he's in LA, we'll deal with that. For now, you got to get the asset. You know, you have to get the asset. So for those saying Horford might go to Golden State, he might, but we're also hearing now that just like I predicted earlier today when I went live on the stream, I also heard that now the Warriors are full court pressing Damian Lillard. They're trying to recruit him. You know, Curry's doing his usual Curry. You know, he's crying to the next star that they're just not enough. They can't live without Dame. They're going out here trying to get Damian Lillard, man. And so if they get him, good luck trying to sign somebody else, right? But again, the Lakers looks like they're trying to open up a plethora of options, starting with Nick Richards, Yves Messi, and Robert Williams, along to go with DeAndre. Now, if the Lakers for some reason strike out on DeAndre, I'm really questioning Rob unless he saves it with a trade because you have him basically in your backyard. You see him strategically wearing the Dodger hat. It's for a reason. He's not trying to go to the Clippers. He's not Brook Lopez, right? He's trying to come to the Lakers. Now, if the Lakers can't close the deal, now we have real issues. Now you're going to get a much different sounding stream with a different tone, not as positive from my end if that happens, especially if we whiff on any of the trades we're trying to, make, right? So CJ says, hey, Dan, I have a feeling that Robbie P might do something controversial and trade AR-15 for a valuable piece. I hope I'm wrong. Well, if he does, it better be a damn good valuable piece, because if you're just trading him just because you're not going to want to re-sign him next year, then it becomes a big problem, right? If we trade in him, I want something major in return. I'm not hoping for Yves Messi for Austin Reaves. That wouldn't. Yes, for necessity it helps, but no, it will leave us with a gaping hole at the 2 guard and some depth issues, right? So yeah. I was gonna ask. So what's the update on Austin Reaves? For now, there's no update. The Lakers apparently still see him as a part of the future. That could change at any point and moment. Apparently, both the Lakers and Austin Reaves want to come to an agreement next season. They did the cordial thing was to offer the max they could offer him, showing him that we value him. Now he becomes an unrestricted free agent next season, and I don't know if he's going to even have conversations with other teams. I hope not, but we'll see what happens. It'll get interesting for sure. D-Free, he said, the problem with Ayton, aside from the low motivation issues, etc., is that everyone knows about is that he is in love with popping and rolls and takes his shots from mid-range, and he's inefficient at it. Well, again, we're going to need Ayton to knock down those shots. I think he shot like 36% from beyond the arc on a small sample size. We need him to pick and pop to the 3, but we also need him to pick and roll. He's a good finisher around the basket. He has to kind of play the poor man's AD. Obviously, he can't hold a candle to Anthony Davis. But if he can be a poor man's AD, we'd be pretty well off, right? So, yeah, that'll be awesome. Missy and Herb would be great. I would love Missy and Herb. That's a name we've heard. Herb and Trey Murphy the third as well would be solid. Dave McMenamin is reporting that the Lakers are looking into some other positions as well, not just the center position. But if I'm the Lakers, I'm not looking at any other position until I solidify that center position right now. Simple and plain. Braden, appreciate you, my guy. He said, I can't wait to see Los Angeles Laytons. I like that. He said, we can get a young third string center to develop, or maybe we already have one in Coloco. Yeah, I want a veteran as a backup. When we get Ayton, he will be our young center that we develop. He's going to be that guy. I really want Deandre Ayton as a young piece, and I want a veteran as a backup piece. If we have 2 young pieces, I'm not mad at it, but I'm a little less sure once we get into the playoffs, my guy. You know what I mean? So it's like for insurance purposes, I think Horford there. We wanted Brook, he's gone. We wanted Capella, he's gone. We wanted, there was other names, but I think Horford fits like a glove unless we find a trade for like a Nick Richards or some veteran like that would be nice. I'm not mad at that. But you know what? It starts with Ayton. I think tomorrow we'll get good news about him signing. I think Laker fans are becoming really, really unrested about this whole free agency process. And I don't blame them. Like I said, I pulled up a list of the free agent signings year by year for Rob, and I'm going to recap those later, to see how exactly he operates in the offseason. I want to look at the patterns. I want to look at everything and see where we're headed. Maybe we can predict something here. Jose says, I've been thinking, what if Rob is working to get Kessler using the DFS sign and trades to send more assets to Utah? Let Rob cook. Everyone benefits. Bro, that would put him right back at the top, as far as off seasons go since 2020. All right, I already looked at that list. In 2020, nothing compared to the summer he had, 2019, 2020, when he put together the championship roster after we pivoted away from Kawhi Leonard. But again, I don't put it past him. He can do it, but he hasn't done it in quite a couple of last seasons. So I'm hoping this time it'll be different, man. Thanks so much for super chat, Jose. Appreciate that. D-Free said Dame and Curry would actually be filthy together. Stop. Let me stop you right there. Dame and Curry are going to be filthy as far as they're not going to play any defense. So that means Draymond's going to have to clothesline some people, which means he's going to have to get suspended. All right. We don't want. I would love to see it because even though they would be great offensively, defensively, who's going to guard when you have them both out there? Unless one's coming off the bench, and then they would benefit. If Damian Lillard comes off the bench, then all of a sudden, guess what? Yes, that makes them very dangerous. I don't think he's coming off the bench, but I could be wrong. He is from Oakland. We'll see. He said, I think there are top two guys in NBA history 3-point makes. They're super small and targetable on defense, but would be fun in a year. It'd be fun to watch him get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. That'll be really fun, D-Free. I agree with you there. William Scott, appreciate you, fam. He said Missy and Richards will be the two centers. Rob has moved on from Deandre Ayton. I don't think so, man. That would be a huge miss. If you can get a center of that magnitude and you're missing because of things you've heard around from ESPN 710 or wherever they're reporting this stuff, don't do it. If you can get a center like Deandre Ayton, go get a center like Deandre Ayton because it's a low risk, extremely high reward. All right, mark my words, I wouldn't do it. Now, as far as trading for both of those centers, we won't have the assets to acquire them both, right? So this is why I think Ayton is still going to happen, right? Regardless. But William Scott, I do appreciate you, brother. I would love either of the two. I think Missy is my favorite because this guy right here, man, he's got the world of potential, and he's still really, really young. All right, let me tell you something about him. He's 21 years old, 6'11" center, right? He's shown tremendous promise his rookie season, averaging 9 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks per game across 73 games. So durability, check. Athleticism, check. Paint protection, check. Right? He's known for his rim running and defensive prowess. You know, he led all NBA rookies in offensive rebounds. 3.5 per game. That is music to my ears. And he ranks extremely high in blocks and rebounds amongst first-year players, right? So, again, that would be great. I don't know why New Orleans would trade him. He should be a part of the future, but you never know. The Pelicans been trash for years. They might be confused or something. I don't see how Austin is a part of the future if they're dead set on offering one or two of these 2-year deals and he's going to take $30 million per year deal. Something to watch. It is possible they move on from him. It is possible they don't want to pay him the big bucks once he becomes a free agent, right? Rumor has it he might request a full $42 million, right? That's a lot. Even though I still think he's worth about 35. 42 is a little bit too high, right? But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Jonathan Reaves, apparently Lopez passed on Lakers because uncertainty surrounding LeBron's contract situation, reported by ESPN. I hope Rob surprises us with a bang. That's interesting. If he did pass on the Lakers due to that, then there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, we had no control over that situation, right? But again, you're going to hear a lot of rumors. You're going to hear a lot of uncertainty. I had heard that Brook Lopez is already a shoo-in with the Lakers. I heard the same thing for Capella. So there's multiple reports. Not all of them are accurate. Not all of them are true. We kind of have to pick and choose and read the tea leaves a little bit. Brook Lopez made a grave mistake in going to the Clippers. He'll find that out sooner or later. That's where careers go to die. That might be your last contract there, Brookie. That might be the last one. I wish you the best, though, except when you play us. That might be the last one. All right. Appreciate you, though. Jonathan, thank you, brother. He said Dame won't be the same player. For sure. For sure, Dame is not going to be the same player. But if he comes back a shell of himself and he comes off the bench for the Warriors, he could make him better. Right? But it doesn't surprise me. Here are the Warriors, always looking for super teams. You just traded for Jimmy Butler. You still got Draymond. You got Curry. Now you want to add a fourth star in Damian Lillard? It doesn't shock me. Curry has not been able to accomplish much outside of that 1 year where he beat Boston in the finals without a super team. All right, Curry loves his little super teams, and it doesn't – I mentioned it earlier. Don't be surprised if Dame goes back home to Oakland to play with the Warriors. Weak-ass move, in my opinion, but hey, he wants to get a taste of a chip, and that's one of his better chances, I guess. I'm more interested in Missy than Ayton. Oh, for sure. But what do you give up as far as assets go? One you can get for free. The other one you have to give up assets. Let me ask you this, Solo. Would you rather get Missy, give up a first-round pick or two, or give up a first-round pick and a pick swap plus Dalton? Or would you rather get Ayton, don't give up nothing and save those assets for later, just in case we need them, right? That's the question I have for all you guys. Jennifer, free agency started yesterday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I've been covering it since then. So hopefully you enjoy. But again, it takes days because not every deal is done in the same day, and then there's trades in between days. We might be well into summer league before something gets done. Who knows? Hopefully not. But I'm thinking the Lakers make their move tomorrow, if not tonight with a trade. I think Ayton will be their first move. Well, second move, really, and besides Jake LaRavia. But I think first necessary move has to be Ayton, for sure. It has to be, fam. $35 million for Austin is a lot, but if he's averaging 24 points per game, with 6 assists, it's not really a lot. You know, that's pretty much what he deserves to get paid, if not more. And then you have to remember that 35 is the new 25 because of CBA, you know, because of everything. Ayton shuffled the Lakers' plans big time. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Ayton changed everything around. Maybe that's the reason we didn't sign Brook or Capella. Who knows? But, you know, Ayton, listen, he had more potential than all those centers. Those other centers were fossils, okay? Let's be honest. Starting with Brook Lopez, I wasn't a big fan of him, especially not him starting. Coming off the bench, I would have been cool with it. Same thing with Capella. Capella actually liked more starting. And the same thing with Horford. You know, these are fossils. We need a starting caliber big who we can build something with. And Ayton is the prime candidate. Unless somebody else appears that's better, he's a prime candidate for that right now as we speak. Now, if Rob drops the ball, doesn't bring in Ayton, then he trades for Nick Richards, and that ends up being our starting center with no valuable backup outside of Jackson Hayes, then it's really underwhelming. This will be, you know, if I have to give that a grade, it would be a horrible grade, if I'm being quite frank, right? So we don't want that to happen. We need Ayton and then an insurance policy to back us up. For sure, we need that. You know, things aren't pretty. These things aren't looking pretty right now. But here's the thing, right? The LeBron situation continues to get interesting. You hear the reports, they're starting to escalate towards him maybe potentially making history and asking for a trade. Nobody, and I mean 0 people expect LeBron James to get traded. Not even me. But he might, again, LeBron is always making history. He might actually make history and be the first mega star to get traded. Kobe didn't do it. Jordan didn't do it. LeBron might be the first. And if he does, what type of haul would he bring back? That'll be topic for different videos, unless you guys have any trade packages for me to analyze. But I would have to put that together. I don't want to waste you guys' time. So if that rumor did escalate, then I would escalate those conversations. For now, it's all hearsay. It's all, speculation. It felt like Rich Paul put it out there, and now is walking it back a little bit. Who knows? But remember, yesterday we heard Windhorst say nobody was prepared to make an offer for LeBron. And today we're hearing that teams are now gearing up. We're hearing names. We're hearing the Mavericks. We're hearing the Knicks. We're hearing the Warriors. We're hearing the Cavs. We're hearing names now that we weren't hearing, right? But I mentioned it yesterday. I wouldn't be shocked at all. And so these things tend to gradually escalate, right? They tend to gradually turn the corner, right? And so we don't know. We don't know what's happening, but it's getting interesting. This offseason is going to be very telling for multiple things. This offseason will tell us if LeBron wants to be here or not. All right, we're going to find out after this offseason. That's one. This offseason will tell us if Rob Pelinka still deserves his job or not. Okay, I think a lot of us already know the answer to that, but for those of us that still are curious about it, I think this offseason will secure that. Whether if he makes the right trades and puts us in contention, then he deserves to keep his job. If he doesn't, man, that's going to be something there. I think a lot of Laker fans will go crazy. What have you missed? Well, the Lakers are inquiring about other big men, but tell me something we don't know, right? Lakers been inquiring in big man since basically Rob Pelinka came into the fold, right? So for those of you just tuning in, Lakers have interest in Nick Richards. They have called the Suns, and they have also called about Yves Missy from the Pelicans and Robert Williams. We don't have more intel than that. We don't know if those other teams were receptive to any trade offers we put together. We don't know if those other teams actually want to trade those players that were mentioned. All we know is that the Lakers have called, right? That's all we know. And so we'll go from there. What's the time that waivers clears tomorrow for Ayton? I think I heard, I think it's at the same time that free agency started, isn't it? 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern? It might be. We'll see. But yeah, once he clears, we should really hear that he intends to sign with the Lakers. That's, I think, my biggest concern is that I hope he doesn't drop the ball because we haven't heard that he intends. We've heard that he's linked to us and he's 1 foot in the door. My own personal source has told me that there's mutual interest between the Lakers and Ayton. But we haven't heard that he's committed to us or that we've committed to him, right? Until I hear that, again, I'm 90% sure it'll happen. I'm not 100 until it happens. I'm not one of these fake reporters going to sit here and tell you I'm 100% sure it's going to happen and it doesn't happen and I look like a fool. No, 90% sure. I do believe it can happen and most likely it will. But just like the Lakers have pivoted away from Brook Lopez and Clint Capella and other names, they can pivot away from Ayton if they feel like there's a better option on the table. I hope not. Like I said, we don't have to give up assets. We can retain our assets by getting Ayton, and then we can use those assets in a different trade to bolster up our roster even more. Horford is another name that, again, has come up in rumors, and and that the Lakers are evaluating. Now, the question is he evaluating us as well? Because we can evaluate anything, right? Anything. That doesn't mean it's evaluating you. My boy Solo could evaluate Kim Kardashian. That doesn't mean she's going to turn around and evaluate him, right? So right now it's all murky still. I feel like there's all smoke and mirrors. And by tomorrow, we should know a lot more. A lot more. He said, yeah, Ayton is the best available center in free agency. For sure. And that's my only point. I'm not in love with the prospect of Ayton if we had to trade for him. Like, let's say the Lakers had pulled off a deal where we had traded Austin Reaves or Dalton or somebody like that and a first-round pick to get Ayton. I would have said, what are we doing? Like, this guy has a low motor. You know, that's a high risk, high reward. That's not low risk. But that wasn't the case, right? The Lakers didn't trade nothing. They're trying to get this guy off the buyout market, presumably. And so we have to be smart about that. We cannot turn that down at all, right? He's doing what Giannis is doing basically right now. Yes, which means he could be 1 foot out the door, fam. I do believe LeBron doesn't want to be a bad guy. Otherwise, he would have requested a trade already. LeBron doesn't want to turn another fan base against him like he did in Cleveland. That's what I believe. And for me, you can't turn me against you, man. I'm already grateful for what you did for us. However, this is why I say I wish he was a little more direct, because if you really wanted out, we can get him out here before the season even started, and then we can start off fresh for us, for the Lakers, and then he can start off fresh wherever, you know, whether that's New York and competing for a title in the East. Listen, if LeBron is really smart, the West is much tougher than the East. If he does choose to demand a trade, he should demand one to the Knicks. They have a golden opportunity there to compete. I think they're the best suited team out there to compete. That's strapped and locked in, ready to go. Why not? Why not the Knicks? Right? That's what I would do. And they have the most assets to give up for us without losing too much. I don't think he gets more than what Durant just got because he's closer to retirement and he's actually got a no trade. For sure. And I'm not expecting a lot in return. I'm expecting to make him happy, and I'm expecting to give us A, cap flexibility for the future, and B, maybe a draft pick, maybe some solid pieces, right? Role players, maybe 1 or 2. Not expecting for a star in return. If we get a star, then we went above and beyond. But yeah. JJJ got paid, and now he's having surgery for turf toe. Oof. I'm telling you, them Memphis Grizzlies are the biggest pretenders I've ever seen. I don't understand why they just paid that man that much. They should have traded him instead, and John Moran started from scratch. Now they're going to be one of those teams that are, good enough to compete and get into the playoffs, but not good enough to get out of the first or second rounds, right? So again, you never want to be that team because it's hard to hit rock bottom and start climbing back to the top when you're just in the middle of nowhere. My guy said, give me Allen and Garland and picks for Bron. Yeah, I do that. Of course. Beggars can't be choosers. We get both of them, you won that trade. I'm sorry. And I love LeBron, but if you can get Garland and Allen, Jared Allen, all of a sudden Luka got, a backup guard. I don't want to start Garland next to Luka. So if that's the case and he wants to start, then I reroute him somewhere else and get a bigger player, right? But if you can get Garland and Jared Allen, yeah, you do it, man. And then obviously they still have Mobley over there. They still have LeBron. You still have Donovan Mitchell. Is that enough to compete in the East? It might be. It might be, fam. But again, guys, these things are getting good, man. Sources are just right now, everybody's confused to what the Lakers are doing. They don't necessarily know. But I do want to report some news. This is a free agency special, right? Is that free agent guard Trey Mann has agreed to a 3-year, $24 million deal. We knew that one a little bit earlier. Free agent shooter Duncan Robinson has agreed to a 3-year, $48 million deal with the Detroit Pistons, right? And then Trey Mann, again, was with the Charlotte Hornets. Who else we got here? I think those were the main two that we didn't report in the morning right there. If I missed anybody, let me know, please. But for now, I think those are the main two right there. Nothing crazy day 2, but it could get really crazy depending on what the Lakers do right now. Let's see. My guy, Julian said, Dan, update. Siegel also claims that the Lakers contacted Orlando about Wendell Carter Jr. and Goga Bitadze. Look, I'll say this about both of those. Both of those centers are pretty solid. Are they really needle movers? I like Wendell Carter Jr. I like the other guy, but man, I really like a different route. I want the Lakers again to go the route of overkill at the center position. We need overkill. We need Ayton. We need Horford. That's overkill, right? We need Ayton. We need Nick Richards. That's overkill, right? So that's what I want. I want the Lakers to just go the safer route and get 2 centers. I mentioned this before free agency even started. I didn't want 1. I wanted 2. Looks like the Lakers are thinking the same thing as far as the rumors and reports go. So I'm glad. I'm glad we're on the same page as far as that goes. But yeah, I think the rest of the league has woken up now, and they realize that size matters, which is what we've been preaching. And again, most of the league went away from size. They were doing a lot of small ball, trying to emulate the Warriors. But now that the Warriors haven't been that successful, teams are trying to get like the Nuggets, like the Timberwolves, like the Pacers, right? They're trying to get like the Thunder. Multiple big men. The more, the merrier. I've been on that wavelength since before we won the championship in 2020. It's extremely hard for a team like Cleveland, for example, to do it because they have to dip below the second apron first, which means they need to make 3 or 4 players leave. Got the team. Well, we saw what Milwaukee just did. If Milwaukee can do it, I think Cleveland can do it as well. Right? I think for sure. 5 Eastern time. Thank you, Ange. Thank you, Ange. There you go. 5 Eastern time, which is 2 p.m. Pacific. Thank you, Ange. I was 1 hour off. I was right there. Let's see. No contending team could trade for LeBron. What about the Knicks? What about the Knicks? What about New York? Is it because they're over the apron? Is that what you're telling me? Is that how the apron works? I think the Knicks can do it, man. Ayton could sign without clearing waivers, right? He has to clear waivers. He will clear waivers. Nobody's going to sign him against his will. He's clearing waivers. Once he clears waivers, he can officially sign, right? But he could verbally agree. Like, I'm surprised we haven't got the news. Oh, Lakers and Deandre Ayton will Deandre Ayton will sign with the Lakers once he clears waivers. Like, that's the news I'm waiting for. That's what I wanted to know, so I can break that to you in a separate video. But we haven't gotten that. And I actually waited I even pushed it back. I was going to live stream at 5 because I had some updates for you guys. I waited till 6 just to see if maybe we got that news. Maybe I might have to come back on live later on, right, just to break that to you. But for now, we don't have the official Ayton news, which does concern me a bit, but I'm not going to get too worried because I believe it will happen still. But, man, like, why hasn't it? Why haven't we got the verbal agreement yet set in place, right? What are the Lakers waiting for? Who would the Knicks give up for LeBron James? I can see a package centered around OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, or OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, right? They might want to keep Josh Hart. You still got LeBron over there. You still got Cat. You still got Jalen Brunson. You know, they would have a very, very good team if that happened. I can see a package happening, though. But, and, you know, LeBron has always flirted with the idea of playing for the Big Apple. So, yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, Josh, I can't read them all, man. I can't read them all, bro. I read as many as I can, though. Come on, man. We got over 1,000 in here, brother. You got to understand. But I do what I can, my friend. I do what I can. Cavs would love to trade Garland and Allen. Both have been playoff droppers the past 2 years. I'd take them on the Lakers. I'd take them on the Lakers because it's more about fit than what they've done for Cleveland. Cleveland is Cleveland. It takes truly a special player to elevate a city like Cleveland to a championship. That's what LeBron did, right? Darius Garland, we had to see it to believe it. He hasn't been able to do it, right? Whether it's because of injuries or lack of depth or whatever you want to say. But, yeah, he has not been able to do it. Let's see here. What we got? Have you seen the new Beasley stuff? He leveraged his whole contract in one deal, being sued by the law firm for $2 million. Owes dentist money? Really? I haven't been looking into that, man. I've been really, really deadlocked on free agency. But, yeah, that whole Beasley situation, is that the same Beasley that gambled? Has been investigated? Milwaukee low-key crazy. They'll have $22 million dead cap space on the books for the next 5 years. I know. But my point by bringing up Milwaukee is that if they're desperate enough to do it, maybe the Cavs will be too. Maybe the Knicks will be too. We'll see. We will see. But things got interesting, y'all. Teams are going for it this offseason, which is why we knew this was going to be a crazy offseason. If LeBron gets traded this summer, this will literally go down as the craziest summer in the history of basketball because no superstar of that magnitude has ever gotten dealt. And again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. But if he did, oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Dan, I'm here for the LeBron trade. It's time to move on. My boy went twice. With the same message. Appreciate you, man. There's a chance you might get your wish, man. I don't think it's time to move on. I don't think we get better by trading off one of the best players in the league right away. Maybe, next year or the year after that we might. But It's only time to move on when LeBron says it's time to move on. If he says he doesn't want to be here no more, then yes, I will agree with you. If he wants to stay here, then hey, let's go into battle one final year, one last hoorah with the king, you know. But thank you so much for super chat, Isaiah. Appreciate you, man. The Knicks got Clarkson too. They got some nice depth, right? They got some nice depth for sure. I like them. I like. If they acquire LeBron, they're the favorites to win the whole title, not just the East. Okay, I'm being honest. As a Laker fan, I will say if they acquire LeBron, they keep Jalen Brunson, they keep Karl Anthony Towns, they keep Mitchell Robinson somehow. They don't include him in the package. They're the favorites. Like nobody more stacked than that with more star power than that in the East. And then they probably have presumably somewhat of a cakewalk. There's going to be a battle there between some teams, but I'm not expecting too much resistance in the East. They'd be fresh for the finals, which is what LeBron needs at his age, right? My favorite football team, the Rams. Go Rams, baby. Horns up. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's see. Who we got here? Who else we got? Did anybody sign Bobo? No. Bobo is still, as of right now, a free agent. He intrigues me more as a third stringer. I wouldn't be mad at him as a backup, but he's still extremely raw and underdeveloped and unproven. So that's the only problem I have with players like Bobo. I like him. He shows potential. He shows glimpses. He shows promise, but extremely underdeveloped, fam. And is that what we need as a backup center? If that's the case, bring back Jackson Hayes. Same thing, right? Same thing, but I don't know. I like Bobo better because obviously he can face up. He can space the floor. He's got tremendous potential, tremendous size. What is he, 7'3"? Like, he's a unicorn in his own right, and he's been underdeveloped throughout his career, but I'm not sure the Lakers can afford bringing on another project, right? I'm not sure. Let's see. It's getting heated, y'all. My boy Diehard says this is not LeBron slander, but if he doesn't like the roster or believe we can actually win it all, he will not try as hard. He obviously doesn't want to get hurt or be on a losing team. And that is when I believe that he will request a trade. Diehard. If he doesn't like this roster, again, Rich Paul didn't come out here and say this just to say it. I've been reading the tea leaves since Jeannie Buss sold the team, right? And one thing that caught my eye, and I mentioned it right when it happened, is Luka tweeted the day after, congratulating and being excited for the new partnership. LeBron did not, right? So again, if I'm LeBron James, I'm looking at this franchise and I'm like, well, Magic Johnson recruited me, dipped, quit on me, right? That's how he probably feels. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's how he feels, right? If I'm LeBron, I'm thinking now Jeannie sells the team, who I had a great relationship with, right? Who I had input with. And now Mark Walters coming in here. He's probably a no-nonsense guy. He comes in here and he's like, I paid billions of dollars to run this franchise how I want to run the franchise. We all know rich people are stubborn. They're going to run it how they want, which could be a good thing for the Lakers. Is we've been needing somebody to take the reins and not have outside input on everything because it doesn't always work out, right? And so, yeah, I think LeBron is very turned off by the fact that the team got sold after Magic quit, who recruited him. After all these things happened, he probably feels like the Lakers under-delivered on their promise. And then, not to mention, we traded Anthony Davis without his consent. It's letting you know something, y'all. It's letting you know Mark Walter been pulling strings for the last year or so before he even thought about buying the team, right? So I think this was a trial run, and this is why you're starting to see the change of the guard. You're starting to see things switch up. But again, it's only my theory. This is not reporting. This is not my source telling me this. Just my theory, right? So this is what I believe how LeBron is thinking. And if we don't have the free agency that he wants and trade the picks and the young players like Dalton and the young prospects, maybe even like Austin, for the even though he loves Austin, but for the players that he wants, and maybe he will request a trade. I'm not opposed to it either. I think we can find a happy medium, sending him somewhere he likes and bringing us something we can use, right? Because I do wonder what happens with Maxey. There's an argument to keep him. I also wonder if he winds up being a part of the team because it's valuable to have different styles of centers on your roster. That's an underrated aspect we haven't talked about. Maxi Kleber, right? He's a three-point sniper. He's somebody who can rebound, right? Not much of a rim protector or anything like that, but he's one of those guys. He could be a glue guy on a team, right? He can make some big plays down the stretch of games for a team. He was a big part of Dallas when Luka was over there in his prime, wheeling and dealing, when Luka was over here leading his team to the finals and stuff like that, right? It was a huge team of the team, a part of the team. So Can I see him becoming a part of this rotation with JJ Redick? Absolutely. But can I also see his contract being traded, to try to get more utility out of that money that's going to his contract? Sure. Right? This is a funny commercial, Big Jim. Stop tearing down my GOAT, James, down. I don't think I've said one single thing to tear him down. We got to stop being sensitive in this era, man. I'm a truth teller. I'm just telling you what could happen. I'm not saying that's what I'm hoping for it to happen, right? So, yeah, nobody's tearing down your GOAT, bro. You gotta put your panties away, my guy. Put them away. All right, could be a third guy. Could be the third guy. Maxi Kleba? The third guy on this team? You're the first one to say it. Yes, if I had to put my money on it, Coolio, yes. Around this time tomorrow, we should be talking about Ayton officially being a Laker. If not before, we might get that report tonight. Do I think we make a move tonight? Honestly, no. But can it happen? Yes, because they've been on the phone since the draft, fam. Since the draft, they've been working the phone lines. And yes, we did make a couple of trades on draft night, but those were draft day trades. But since even before the draft, the Lakers have been working the phone lines, according to multiple sources, including my own. The Lakers have been active, but that activity has led to no production yet. But the offseason is long and it's rigorous. And the longer it drags out, the less options I believe the Lakers have. So it is in our best interest to make things happen sooner rather than later. Right? So I hope it does happen tonight. Do I think it's going to happen tonight? I mean, nothing Rob Pelinka has done in the past couple of seasons makes me think he's a gunslinger who makes things happen fast. Usually he's at a turtle's pace. Sometimes it works for him. Most times it doesn't. If I were LeBron, the main thing I would be upset about is genuinely feel like they wasted a couple of years sitting on their assets. I agree with that. The Lakers did do that. I agree with that. I'm upset for Anthony Davis as well, but it is what it is. I mean, hopefully we put that in our, in the back and we move forward. At this point, we can't hold on to the past. We got to move on, and hopefully we do better moving forward, right? But, all right. Here I have a list, guys, that I want to share with you guys, right, of the free agency acquisitions that Rob Pelinka has done year by year. And I want you guys to rate it, okay? I'm going to go year by year. Rob Pelinka says he took the helm. Some of this has Magic Johnson written on it. So, disclaimer, not all of this is Rob Pelinka. You guys will know which one is. I will mention it. But let's start with 2017, when the man was hired as president, right? KCP signed a 1-year, $17 million contract, right? Tyler Ennis signed a 1-year minimum contract. And then Andrew Bogut didn't work out, but he signed a 1-year minimum contract. So KCP, Tyler Ennis, and Andrew Bogut were the first acquisitions of Rob Pelinka's career. Magic was involved then. 2018, the biggest one, and again, this is heavily Magic. I'm going to heavily credit Magic Johnson here, okay? LeBron James, 4-year deal worth $153 million contract. Crazy how times have changed. This is in 2018. All right, $153 million contract couldn't get you a decent role player nowadays for 4 years. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but yes, LeBron James signed. Magic written all over it. Rajon Rondo signs 1-year, $9 million deal. Magic written all over it. Lance Stevenson, 1-year deal. Magic. JaVale McGee, 1-year deal. Magic. Michael Beasley, 1-year deal. And then Tyson Chandler. That's the offseason of 2018. Now remember, that year we missed the playoffs. Magic Johnson quits towards the end of the season. And then Rob Pelinka fully takes the helm. And this is where we start seeing the true fruits of Rob Pelinka's labor and who he truly is and what he's capable of, right? So the offseason of 2019, right, July 6th officially, he signs Danny Green to a 2-year, $30 million contract. Something about Rob Pelinka, he loves his flexibility, right? 2-year, $30 million contract for Danny Green, right? Turns around, signs DeMarcus Cousins, who never played for us, on a 1-year deal for $3.5 million. Signs KCP, re-signed him, 2-year, $16.5 million. Right? Re-signs JaVale McGee. Then he turns around and signs Quinn Cook, who had a decent little year for us. More off the bench as a veteran leader. Troy Daniels, who didn't play much, 1-year minimum contract. Alex Caruso, 2-year, $5.5 million contract. That was the best thing he could have did right there. Alex Caruso. Rajon Rondo re-signs Avery Bradley. All right, signed 2-year, $9.7 million. He played a solid role in that championship run. Dwight Howard, signed on a 1-year minimum contract. Huge acquisition. Played a major role. And then Zach Norvell Jr. signed on 2-way. And Devontae Kaycock, who never panned out. Neither of the two signed on a 2-way. Followed by Markieff Morris, who also played a solid role. And Dion Waiters. So that was the most active offseason that Rob Pelinka had. He followed that up in 2020 with an underwhelming offseason, right? With the exception of course, extending Anthony Davis. That's the best part. He re-signed a 5-year deal. Wesley Matthews, Montrezl Harrell, KCP re-signed. Markieff Morris re-signed. Marc Gasol, who didn't pan out. Kostas Antetokounmpo, who was just a dead space roster spot. I guess they were trying to entice Giannis to come. Jared Dudley, solid. All right, re-signing. Didn't really contribute. Damian Jones, solid. Signed to a 10-day contract, eventually extended. And then Andre Drummond, who didn't work out, and Ben McLemore, signed to a 1-year contract. 2021 offseason, Talen Horton-Tucker re-signs a 3-year deal worth about $30 million. Didn't pan out. I was high on Talen Horton-Tucker. I'm not going to lie. Didn't pan out. Never got the jump shot going, the face-up game going. None of that. I was wrong about Talen. I'm usually not wrong. I'm usually not wrong about young talent. Malik Monk, who I predicted the Lakers should sign and will sign, signed on a 1-year deal. I wish it was more than one, right? And then Kendrick Nunn, fail signing. Trevor Ariza, fail signing. Wayne Ellington, these are all 1-year minimum contracts, by the way. Fail signing. Dwight Howard no longer had it in him in 2021. And then Mac McClung, Shandy Brown Jr., 2-way contract, and Rondo signs a 1-year contract, and DeAndre Jordan, right? The rest were just 2-way contracts and 1-year minimums. Cameron Oliver, 1-year minimum contract. Trevelyan Queen, 1-year minimum contract. Sekou Demboya, 1 year. Some of these guys were waived. Jay Huff, right? So we haven't really had a good offseason since the 2019 offseason. And again, I can keep going. I can keep going and going and going. 22 offseason. Lonnie Walker, solid. Juan Toscano Anderson, didn't work. Trash signing. Yeah, I hate to say it because he's Mexican, but that was bad. Didn't fit. We ended up trading him. Troy Brown Jr. wasn't really efficient. Damian Jones wasn't really great for us. Thomas Bryant underutilized, and then Dennis Schroeder signed to a $2 million deal, which was probably the best signing in 2022. A guard. And there's another trend I want to show you guys. 6'3" guards and under. Rob Pelinka likes them. Lonnie Walker, Dennis Schroeder. So many he continues to sign. 2023 offseason. Austin Reaves re-signed. W. Rui Hachimura re-signed. 3-year, $51 million contract. W. All underpaid contracts. D'Lo re-signed. $36 million contract. Didn't work out. Right? Gabe Vincent signed 3-year, $33 million contract. Wholly overpaid. He has not given us one good year, consistent year. Last year was the best glimpse, and then it faded out in the playoffs. Taurean Prince, trash signing. Cam Reddish, bad. Didn't work out. Jackson Hayes hasn't worked out. Right? Christian Woods didn't even play much. Alex Len, oh my God, can we get a refund? Right? And now here we are. 2024 offseason, LeBron James re-signs a 2-year contract. Max Christie re-signs 4-year. He gets traded. And then Mark Williams. That was it. That was all we did last summer. So this summer, guys, and I say all of that and bring all that up to let you guys know that Rob Pelinka has been sitting on his hands for the last couple of off seasons. He needs to have a huge off season here. And hopefully we will get one. But the trend isn't good. The trend isn't good for signings. Out of all those names I mentioned, right, the best offseason he had by far was the first offseason. Maybe it was the adrenaline of taking over, but he signed Danny Green in 2019. DeMarcus Cousins, even though he didn't play. Caldwell Pope re-signed, right? JaVale McGee, huge for us. Quinn Cook and Jared Dudley, veteran leaders. Alex Caruso, huge. Rajon Rondo, huge. Avery Bradley, huge. Dwight Howard, probably the biggest piece he signed that offseason besides Caruso. And Markieff Morris on a 1-year minimum. That was the best. And since then, guys, it's been 5 years. We haven't been able to. And this is not including trades. Obviously, the trade for Luka was his biggest acquisition outside of the one him and Magic did for Anthony Davis. So, wow. Just wow. Team Ambush says, nobody's talking about Bron's skill level, but he also hinders us when it comes to movement and free agency and trades. Well, to be honest, Team Ambush, there wasn't too many amazing free agents that I would have chose. I wouldn't have chosen any of them over LeBron James. However, 2028-7, there's plenty, okay? Plenty of those free agents. Even still at 41, we will be a little skeptical if he can still play at a high level to help us. Players like LeBron will always be 28-8 at least, because even though his athleticism is declining, he is highly intelligent. He has adapted his game as the years have progressed. He has more of a post game now. He has a different game. He's a better jump shooter than he was early in his career. He's gotten better, so I'm not too worried about that. The only thing that concerns me about LeBron is injuries. That's it. Because as you get older, the body becomes more brittle, and so that's about it. I don't like the report that Rob is waiting to see if a center becomes available because other teams have too many and are doing trades. He needs to be out there making stuff happen. I think Rob is comfortable because he knows he's got Ayton. He shouldn't be comfortable, though, because what happens if Ayton has a change of heart? What happens if we whiff on that? Now you got nothing, right? You can't be comfortable. Now you're super desperate. Now you got to give it all up, right? So Rob has to be much better. I do agree with that for sure. KCP was back channeling clutch signings. Man, it is what it is. But again, that was the best offseason he had, and it led to a championship. We haven't had that, man. Dan, another wasted day for the Lakers. I wouldn't say that. They've been working. They haven't done anything, Facts, which brings us to the point, fire Rob. You know what, Tasia? The only thing that gave him a little bit more life is that he landed Luka, which people say fell on his lap. But if he has one more bad offseason and LeBron requests a trade, yes. Not only do we trade LeBron, but we also fire Rob Pelinka. You get rid of both of them, and that's what you got to do. Fans hate Mark, but he panned out much more than what we remember. He fit perfectly on that team and with AD. He was a great passer, horrible defender, flat-footed defender at that time. He made great passes. That's about it. And he was fun to watch because of it. And he could space the floor. It was a decent fit. It just felt like 2 years too late. That's what it felt like. And so, yeah, it really wasn't nothing to brag about. We were getting cooked in the paint with him at starting center. Without Dwight, we were getting cooked. The crazy thing about most people we sign, use the taxpayer mid-level exception on, aren't even in the league anymore. That you just named. I'm saying Rob hasn't had a great track record in free agency. I hope that he goes back to his roots of 2020 and that hunger he had, where he just signed like 8 guys and he went for it. And, the rest was history. LeBron and AD, they made it happen, right? But I haven't seen the same hunger, and year by year, it seems like he makes less and less moves. And right now, he probably feels vindicated by the fact that he landed Luka. Again, you have the engine. You do not have the car or the wheels right now, right? Big thing about is when he laid out like that, it happened. Rob has no vision. It's constantly changing. Yeah. Helen says, so what's going on? What's going on is the Lakers have engaged a couple of teams in trade conversations, most notably the Pelicans and the Portland Trailblazers and the Suns. So there's options on the table. Problem is, right, the market is drying up. We might whiff on Al Horford. I pray to God we don't whiff on Deandre Ayton, right, and all of that. So this is what Ramona Shelburne had to say about LeBron James just 38 minutes ago. She says, he's still that good. I don't think it's his last year, but the fact that the Lakers did not discuss the 1-1 or the 2-1 contracts beyond this year with him, they just let him sit back. That tells you a lot. It's not in his control with LA, which is what I just told you guys. See, I do not speak out of my backside, guys. When I tell you guys something, it's an educated guess. I believe that Mark Walter has taken back control of the Lakers. I believe Clutch had control of the Lakers for a lot of years. And when it didn't lead to championships, there was internal discussions about what the problem was. And I believe that's also part of the reason Jeannie sold the team, because she doesn't have the backbone to really control a franchise to the point where you cannot mix business with pleasure. She makes friends. She holds on to the buses. To the Rambis family, the Rambi, and allows them to, too many cooks in the kitchen, too many opinions. I believe Mark Walter saw this and saw an opportunity to swoop in and say, listen, sell me majority stake ownership of the team. I'll make the hard decisions from here on out. And I think these hard decisions have been happening since last year. It was a big eyebrow raiser to me when we traded for Luka. That told me right there that Clutch no longer controls things. The fact that LeBron didn't know, the fact that all these things happened in silence, nothing leaked out, I was been speculating that the Lakers had taken control back. And I'm okay with that. But you got to take full control. That means you got to have this tough conversation with LeBron and see what he wants to do, probably even before the season starts, right? Let's see. Nigel said Rob is scared, Dan. He will only pull the trigger when it's another no-brainer deal like the Doncic deal. He lacks creativity. That I can agree with you and D Free. I do believe he lacks creativity. Let's see. He said, you said it's time to have a good offseason. Dude, half of these solid players are already gone. The thing is, right, let's be honest. It is time to have a good offseason. But that doesn't necessarily only pertain to free agency, right? It could pertain to trades too, and we still have assets to trade. Question is Rob going to have the goal to make it happen? We'll see, right? Over the next couple of days, we'll find out. But we can still have a good offseason. Will we have a good offseason? To be determined. If we don't, Rob got to go. It's that simple. It's that simple. And then I think LeBron will go too. I don't think LeBron will stand for this, right? So just like Giannis is sitting back, LeBron is sitting back according to reports, and we can have fireworks after 4th of July with major trades if that happens. If both superstars are unsatisfied, maybe they both request a trade. Jay Moore TV says, yeah, he does, Dan. Bro, is definitely not good for him at all. He's going to have to hit big. The biggest was trading for Russell Westbrook. That was horrible. That one set us back a few years, I still feel. What up, Jeremy? Jeremy said, hey, brother DT, still no moves for the Lakers. Well, we do have one move, even though it was a little bit confusing because that wasn't what we needed. But I guess they wanted to shore up the wing depth after losing DFS, right? And so we do have that move. But outside of that, we haven't done much. I agree with you. You know, they're working the phone lines. We need to see action. I think Laker fans are tired. They need to see action. But we need to see the right action. We don't want to see the wrong thing happen here. Rob can't wait to get it done this offseason. He needs his ass whooped. I don't know about getting violent, man, you know, but that's funny. My guy Freddie's tired. He's had it all. He said, if Rob can't get it done this offseason, he needs his ass whooped. That's funny, man. Jerry, if Rob doesn't steal Luka, no 11B sale, he's safe. You might be right, but if he's safe, it's only for one more year. Because, again, looking at Mark Walter and what he did with the Dodgers, after 1 year, he brought in his own people. You know, so I can see that happening as well for the Lakers. Right? This is going to be maybe a year of trial and tribulations. Maybe. But we can't afford that with Luka. That's the problem. That's my only thing. With Luka, you want him to buy him long-term, you have to show him you want him to buy him long-term. Right? I want to see Luka put some pressure on Rob to get him and LeBron the pieces they have a chance to win now. It's what your superstar player needs to do to push the organization to win. I believe both Luka and LeBron have already pushed for this, but Luka probably went and did it privately while LeBron did it publicly. You know, there's two different approaches to this. But, yeah, I do like it when star players are vocal about what they need. I'm not mad at AD for what he did and demanding another big man. Unfortunately, that got him traded, right? But I'm not mad at him at all. I don't blame him for what he did. He was tired of being the lone big man there. Let's see, Lakers are patient. Meanwhile, Denver's making these swift moves. Denver has been tremendous. I still believe we should hire somebody like Masai Ujiri, even if we don't fire Rob, just to be alongside there as an advisor. Bob Myers as well. I mean, these are names that the Lakers should definitely be intrigued by, especially if you fire Rob. But even if you don't, you know, why not have the extra help there, right? Why not? All right, so no surprise here. Mark J. Spears mentioned that the Warriors, one of the teams that has reached out to Damian Lillard. Again, he is from Oakland. That would be insane if it does happen. You know, but it is what it is, man. Look, Oakland, the Golden State Warriors, the only championship I respect from them is the one they took from Boston in the finals. Outside of that, everything else has been stacked rosters, man. When they didn't have Iguodala, Sean Livingston, and Mo Spates, they had Kevin Durant and God knows who else. Those teams have been stacked, and credit to them. Part of that has been because they drafted well, but the other part, they love recruiting mega stars who, you know, need championships, and Damian Lillard fits the description. You know, Damian Lillard fits the description. No spamming, please. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I will not read spam messages, guys. I know you guys want to get your messages off. I'm reading as many as I possibly can. No spamming. If you spam, Kimmy Goat might actually block you. So, yeah, don't risk it, guys. I'm trying to save you here. But it is day 2, barely, man, and it feels like we've been at it for 20 days, to be honest. It is day 2. A lot of free agents have flown off the board, but there's still some good ones. There's still some that could help us move the needle. Obviously, Ayton, at the top of the pecking order. You got Al Horford, Chris Paul still out there, Lonnie Walker still out there. There's still some very serviceable pieces out there, and I'm curious to see what the Lakers are going to do, right? Let's see. Dan, what you reckon happens with Malik Beasley? I don't know, man. He might be in trouble. He might be in trouble with the law, with all the gambling stuff and whatnot. If you're an NBA player, man, you have no need. Guys, come on now. Let's not get greedy. You're millionaires, right? Leave that to the small fish. Leave that to us, right? Leave us for the prop betting and the gambling in the legal states. Leave that to us, right? I don't know why these players want to make that extra money. I guess they're addicted to the hustle. They're supposed to, act like you've been there before. Once you're a millionaire, you got to act like one. Let's see. D Free said, that's the one thing I'm happy about with Genie being gone. There's no way anybody can explain to me why Rob got an extension. Wow, we fired Vogel after making that crazy Russell trade. That extension is still crazy to me, for sure. And I'll never understand it, for sure. The Buzz kids made some very questionable decisions. But now it looks like we might be in the right hands. In a true basketball mind, somebody who's going to hire the right people to take care of the basketball side of things and put together a winning product, Put together a winning product. Notorious says right now Rob is president of operations and the GM. He needs to hire a real GM. Lakers are not a mom and pop shop anymore. I agree with this take. As much as it hurts me to say, and I love Genie, we're not a mom and pop shop. We need to operate with no pleasure to this business, right? You don't mix business and pleasure. Everybody knows that. That's the golden rule number one. Beasley is a goofy as hell. I don't get it. Bro, I'll never understand. You see these other players get in trouble too doing it, and you think you're going to get away with it? Come on, fam. Just do everything by the book, man. You already beat the system. Your ass is already in the NBA making millions of dollars, living a comfy life. What are they doing? Come on now. Jeremy. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I haven't had time, man, during free agency, but we'll get back on it. That new Donkey Kong is coming out. That should be a lot of fun to play and review for sure. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Thank you, bro. Messiah Ujiri or Bob Myers? Which one do I prefer? That's a great question. Let me ask you guys that question. Let me reverse the question. You guys asked me a lot of questions. I want to ask you guys, who do you prefer, chat? And then I'll make my decision. But I got to sit and think about that one for a little bit. Bob Myers has built a championship dynasty. So I think I'm leaning towards him. But Messiah Ujiri has great connections to players and is very cerebral as well. And it looks like we already have mixed answers. You love to see it. All right, Ujiri, Bob Myers, Ujiri, Bob. It's like 50-50 right now. So, again, both two cerebral minds. I would prefer either over Rob. Rob, we've given him enough time to prove himself over these last 7 years or so. And to be honest, he's been very underwhelming. Yes, the Luka trade was special. It was. That's probably going to be the highlight of his career. Getting Luka to the Lakers without giving up more than one first-round pick. And without giving up Austin Reaves. We made off like bandits on that one. I told you guys the night it happened, even though people were still skeptical about it. But, we won this season in spite of losing in the playoffs in the first round because our future is bright, so long as new ownership can come in here and make things happen, right? Lakers basketball returns Saturday. Need to see ASAP. Yes, for those of you that don't know, Summer League is what my good friend Jonathan is referring to. I will be covering it. I got you guys pregame. And I got you guys post-game here on the channel. If you guys are interested in watching along, I'll see if we can get it on my channel over on Playback TV. Absolutely free to watch for the first 25 that tune in with your boy with the VIP pass. So make sure you guys get there. Download the app, Kimmy Goat, if you are so kindly as to share the link with them. All right? And also, Kimmy Goat, if you could tell me where we're at in the likes. So we hit 500. I stay on for another hour. Otherwise, I will fade into the background, wait for more news, and then pop up later on tonight if anything happens. Otherwise, tomorrow. Okay, let's get to 500 likes. If you already have it, please hit that like button. I want to continue and chop it up. See if we can get the breaking news while we're live. That'll be great if we can get a live reaction. It's happened before. It's always exciting to get the live take while it happens, right? I think that's probably the most exhilarating. When I've been live with you guys and something breaking happens right when I'm on here live. Like, that's super exciting for sure. Let's see here. I was just checking for updates. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got to get those likes up. Come on, guys. We got this. We can get it right now. We got about, I'll give you guys 5 minutes to get up to 500, and then we'll go from there. Let's see. My guy, Freddie, says, with the money the new ownership have, we can hire both. I would do it. Honestly, we can have co-GMs or whatever. I'd do it, man. I would definitely go out of my way to do it. They have what it takes for sure. You know, DTG TV says, I ain't always got in here, but I appreciate your grind, my boy. Keep it up. Very motivating. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for the kind words. All the kind words are welcome, man. Appreciate you as well, JoJo. Thank you, man. Hey, it's a pleasure. So for me, I get to do what I love for a living, man. Due to these sponsorships and all you guys' support, I literally work from home, and my job is just to break down basketball, the NBA, and especially the Lakers. That's exciting. You know, I hope to expand into other things on my second channels, right? Primetime TV. But yeah, for now, this is a dream come true. And even though it's hard work and I got to do my research a lot, and I've been blessed enough to be able to link with NBA players, have them on here as guests. I've been blessed enough to be able to have an actual legitimate NBA source now, and it's not all just guesses like it was before. You guys used to call me Dan Stradamus because I used to guess a lot of the things that used to happen. Now is actually coming from an educated place, you know, as far as, you know, what I'm hearing down the pipeline. So that's always very exciting, man. But it is a blessing. I do appreciate you guys, man. This is my favorite time of the year. Just all the possibilities. Sometimes, and a lot of times it disappoints. Summers disappoint. They have the last couple of years, but I don't know why. I just have a good feeling for this summer, man. We have to have a good summer. We have to. There's no way around it, you know? Let's see. My guy Victor says, Lakers fam, who do you guys want as a GM, DTLF or Bob or you, Jerry? I say Dan. Hey, man, I appreciate the vote of confidence. But I do vote Bob Myers, man. I love my team too much to take on that type of responsibility. Although, as a scout, you can count me in. He says, Zach Lowe saying our negotiations with DFS went badly and ended on bad terms, alluding to those rumors about Rob the other day. If that's true, guys, if that is true, then Rob has to go. We cannot hold on to you know, the black eye of the Lakers organization. He'd be that. He would be that at the end, you know? So, yeah. No, I know what you meant. Appreciate you, Vic, my guy. Now, hey, Rudy, how's it going, brother? Appreciate that, man. Appreciate all the kind words. You guys are the best. K-Way, shout out to K-Way. Darius Ford says, I would like to watch NFL games with you, Dan, on Playback. Man, I'm sure we all would. We would all like to watch. Right now, unfortunately, Playback TV does not have the rights to the NFL. But hopefully that changes this season because I would love to cover my Rams over there and on my second channel, Primetime TV. That would be awesome. What about Vucevic from the Bulls? Is he a possibility? He's on a hefty contract, right? He's on a hefty contract. How much is he making? I'd have to look that up. But, you know, I'm pretty sure they'd like to offload that contract. If you're the Lakers, though, you need more defense and offense. This guy's a great rebounder and a great offensive player. How good of a defender is he, right? So, Nick Vucevic, let's see. Let's see if I can look up his contract with the Bulls. And I'll tell you if it's worth it or not. All right, so he's currently on a 3-year, $60 million contract extension. That's not bad, actually. $20 million is doable, right? Base salary of $21 million. Sure, I take a flyer on him. Not saying he's my favorite or anything like that, but if he becomes available via trade, I believe, yeah, he would be a solid addition. Again, depending on the rest of the way this roster is made and put together. But right now, we still need more of a rim protector, more athleticism in the paint, more size, right? That's what I want. Update on the music. I'm going to have a lot of free time in August and September. Usually those are the only 2 months that I have off. I go on vacation. I spend time with my girl, and then I come back ready to work in October. But I work from October all the way to July, guys. That's a 10-month scheduling program for your boy, which I love because it pays the bills, right? And again, I get to do what I love. But my goal is to hit the ground running hard. I got the booth right here. Work on that album because it's still on schedule to drop October 31st. I tend to hit most of my deadlines, if not all. I'd say 99% of my deadlines I hit. Once in a while, I might slip up. But I think this album will drop October 31st. So that's the update right there. Thank you for asking, brother. Vucevic on a $21 million expiring contract? Interesting. Yeah, Google told me different. But if it's expiring, it's worth even more. Maybe the Lakers really would be interested because they want to have cap space for 27. That would kind of fit, align with them. All right. All right. Any comments, questions, concerns? Guys, looks like we didn't hit our mark again of 500. But, again, if anything breaks, I will be right back after these messages, chat. But I'll take a couple final comments and questions. if you guys have any for your boy. Otherwise, I will log off in a bit. All right. Keep hitting that like button. Who knows? We might hit it. Let me know, Kimmy Go. Let me know. That was the last one I answered. Let's see. My boy D Prince, good to see you, bro. He said, would Nick Richards as a starting center with Horford and Hayes as a backup okay with you? I see Nick Richards more as a backup, and I think the Suns do as well, which is why they're willing to trade him. It would be okay. It wouldn't be my favorite. I still want Ayton over Nick Richards for sure. He's more imposing a little bit. He's got higher upside. But I'd be okay with that. It's much better than Jackson Hayes and, that other guy that we signed who should not be mentioned because he played like crap. Much better. All right. I'll take Nick Richards and Horford over what we had last year for sure. Is it my favorite? No, I still want DeAndre Ayton and Horford or DeAndre Ayton and Nick Richards or, any combination of starting with DeAndre Ayton because I think we found our starting center for at least next year. Right? At least. Let's see. That's just a mystery to me. If other GMs like the Nuggets can get these moves done in a single day, why does our front office need days to get any deal done? Some kind of voodoo, man. No, well, it's really simple. To answer your question, our main target, in my opinion, was DeAndre Ayton the moment he became available. That target is not able to sign until he clears waivers on Wednesday, all right, at 2 p.m. Pacific time, which tells me that maybe that's the move we want to make first, and then whatever remains as far as cap space is trades or whatever, then we'll probably proceed from there, which is probably why we haven't seen anything. But that's just all pure speculation. That is all pure speculation right there, D Prince. Absolutely. Keep hitting that like button, guys. That is going to wrap it up for me. I think I've answered most of your guys' questions. If I missed anything, feel free to leave it in the comment section. I will keep you guys updated in the community section. Meanwhile, the Lakers make a move. I won't be back on live tonight unless the Lakers make a trade or there's some sort of other tectonic plate shifting move around the league that's worth me reporting. Outside of that, I got you guys in the community section. But again, we're expecting big things tomorrow. Hopefully that does happen. Hopefully we do secure DeAndre Ayton. Again, this video is brought to you by Underdog and Prize Picks. Promo code DTLF for both. Make sure you guys tap in. All right, still a lot of things to submit entries on. Baseball is in full swing right now. We got the MMA with the UFC and all that good stuff. We got women's basketball. Shout out to the WNBA. Very entertaining. I want to start covering some of that over on Playback. Caitlin Clark, very fun to watch. Maybe some Angel Reese. We will see. So make sure you guys tap in on Playback as well. And there it is, the promo code right on time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That is going to wrap it up for me. I will hope to see you guys later on tonight if something breaks. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, you guys know the drill, all right? It's been real, guys. Have a good rest of your evening. Peace.